Day 3 of Broncos camp, a beautiful morning here at UC Health Training Center. By far the best weather of camp so far, and it's Monday morning, but the fans are piling in to watch practice as the Broncos are wearing shells for the first time so far. Hello, and thank you for joining us for Broncos Camp Live, powered by Ford. I'm Phil Milani alongside Matt Boyer and Steve Atwater. The sun is shining, and the Broncos wearing shoulder pads for the first time. How's that going to change things, Steve?
Well, I think it's going to pick up a notch. The intensity is going to pick up a notch. Now, we had a practice the other day where Will Parks went over to try and break up a pass and, got into a little collision, and the coach will feel much better with that happening now, with them having the shells on. And then tomorrow, of course, they crank it up with the full pads, and we'll be full go then.
I'm very excited to see the one-on-one battles, those offensive linemen and defensive linemen finally getting after it in the pass pro drills. You can finally see where those offensive linemen like to go with their hands.
Yeah.
A little holding going on, I'm sure, but it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, taking it up a notch. And if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from, or if you have a question, we can get to it later on in the show. Guys, yesterday, Case Keenum put on a show with his wide receivers. Looked really sharp.
Man, he was throwing the ball deep. He was getting the ball out quickly, just making good reads. Really did a great job, and the receivers looked energized catching the ball from him. He looked like he's been here for a while. He doesn't look like this is his first year with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, you heard Emmanuel Sanders say, "We have found our quarterback." That's got to be good for Case to hear that.
You've seen it every single day, his leadership. You've seen him bring the young guys along. He's gone over to DaeSean Hamilton or Cortland Sutton after the fact when they come back to the line of scrimmage and say, hey, that was good, but you got to go here. You got to go here. I think that him really paying attention to those little details with those younger guys is really going to bring those young wideouts along really quick.
And that was the big thing that fans were wondering is how will Case Keenum really affect this team? And so far, through the first couple of days at least, we're saying what he's capable of doing. Behind him, Paxton Lynch, Chad Kelly, a little bit of a quarterback competition going there for that second spot. Steve, how have those two looked?
Well, they haven't looked great. They haven't looked bad. I think it's going to take them a while to really get up to speed with everything. Now, they had really good OTAs. I felt like they both improved quite a bit during OTAs, but now we got a lot more bullets flying, and it's just going to take them a couple of days to get to where they feel comfortable with everything.
I think they haven't been bad, but they haven't blown anybody off the page yet. I think they're exactly where we expected them to be. I know that Coach Joseph, all training camp and all OTAs said Paxton's got to get playing time. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. He's just got to get on the field. And I think once he gets those reps, once Chad gets those reps too, I think that we're going to see, finally that progression that we've been expecting to see up to this point, because it seems like every single year you're like, man, if only he was healthy. Now we've got both Chad and Paxton healthy. Let's see what they can do.
All the fans this offseason were wondering, hey, what is Chad Kelly like? The unknown, the mystery. They're intrigued by that. The speed of the game, maybe at least the first 2 days, a little bit overwhelming for him.
Yeah, it could be that. You never know what it actually is. Now, fortunately, with us having Case Keenum, knowing that Case Keenum is our starter going into camp, and I would imagine the first two preseason games especially, both Paxton and Chad Kelly will get a really good chance to show what they can do.
Matt, you mentioned it. The health is important of at least Paxton Lynch for sure. Another guy you had a chance to ride into work with, Derek Wolfe, finally feeling healthy too.
Yeah, boy, was that exciting. Number 95 driving in on his way to training camp. This is year 7 for Derek Wolfe, but he said even in year 7, he still goes through a transformation every single day when it comes to training camp.
Really, I'm starting to make that transition from that camp mindset days before, we report. I sometimes I listen to music, sometimes I don't. But to me, it's just about it's my time, it's my alone time in my car. I love this truck so much. It makes me feel good driving this truck. It makes me feel confident when I drive this truck. It's something I've worked really hard to get. I think back when I was young, I used to look at guys like Peyton, DeMarcus, Dad. I was like, how do they, what are their routines? And they were just always the same guy every single day. So that's the hardest thing to do. People think that's easy to do. That's hard to do. It's hard to be the same guy every single day.
Jay, there he is. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
Good.
Broncos country. Thanks for riding with me to work. Hope I see you at camp.
To see the complete version, make sure to head to denverbroncos.com and the Broncos YouTube channel. Special thanks to Derek Wolfe again for bringing us along. I thought it was really, really interesting that he still feels that anxiety, still feels that pressure, Steve, and he's learned a lot from the veterans. We saw, it took him a while to develop that routine, but he learned from guys like DeMarcus and Peyton, and I think it's really paying off. He's playing at a high level.
Yeah, he's playing at a high level, and I anticipate him playing even better than he did last year. Of course, last year he had some injuries, some nerve injuries and all that, and now he's feeling healthy finally for the first time in a long time. So his productivity last year will pale in comparison to what I think he's going to do this year.
31 tackles, 2 sacks for Derek Wolfe last season. He mentioned it. He's heading into year 7. Hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet. This year, maybe the year for Wolfe?
I think so. I think that we talked a lot about Von Miller and the help that he's getting from Shaq Barrett, Shane Ray, and Bradley Chubb. I think that's also going to benefit the guys up the middle like Adoma Tapeko, like Derek Wolfe. I think those middle gaps we're going to see open slightly, and Derek Wolfe doesn't need much space. I mean, this guy is as talented as anybody in the league when it comes to hand-to-hand combat along the defensive line.
Yeah, and they're just going to feed off of each other. We got Von Miller, going to have Shane Ray, going to have
Bradley
Chubb and
DeMarcus
Walker, and all those guys going. We could have multiple Pro Bowlers if these guys really stay healthy and get going.
Yeah, and one note, DeMarcus Walker has come back to camp much heavier. It looks thick.
Yes.
It looks like he's
man.
ready to play inside. We mentioned it at the top of the show. The offense was really clicking. We saw 3 plays in a row yesterday. DaeSean Hamilton made a big catch. Emmanuel Sanders made a big catch. Demaryius Thomas back to back to back. What have you seen from number 10 so far?
Well, Emmanuel, he looks very lively. He looks like he's a rookie out there again, the way he's running around with so much energy, and he's still making great catches. It doesn't look like he's slowing down any in his 10th year? 10th year in the league? 9th, 10th year in the league?
10, I'm not sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's playing really good football right now, and as camp goes on, he may slow down just a little bit as the toll of camp takes over. But he's doing a really good job so far.
Number 10 likes to put on a show. We've seen the high fives after the catches. We've seen him talking a little noise to the DBs when he's running past him down the sideline. I think this is Emmanuel's time to shine. He loves to put on a show in front of these fans, and I think that with Case now at the helm, he's finding his spots. He feels that level of comfort that hopefully will transition into the regular season.
You have to feel rejuvenated when
Right.
you have that quarterback back there that if I get open, he's going to find me. A little bit more motivation that way. Also rejuvenating probably to have the 2 young wideouts come in and be a mentor to them, especially DaeSean Hamilton.
Yeah, DaeSean Hamilton, we had him on the radio show yesterday, and he talked about how much help both Emmanuel and DT have given him up to this point. And he's kind of a quiet guy. He doesn't talk very much, but, he has a very strong will, and he's a very hard worker. He's a great addition to the team.
You mentioned it. He's very quiet, but he internalizes everything. You can see him talking to Cortland Sutton, really taking in everything that they're talking about when it comes to the playbook. If Case goes over to him, you can see him taking in everything that Case is talking about. We talked to him a couple days ago. The DBs, he has such reverence for the DBs, but he's not scared, and that's really important. I think a healthy respect is good, but he knows he can compete on that level.
Yeah, he's learning from Bradley Roby, Chris Harris Jr., Tremaine Brock. That's going to just make him better throughout camp. And these guys are going to be counted on during the regular season, but right now they know that they're rookies. They're picking up helmets, that kind of thing after practice. And so far, Emmanuel Sanders says he's been impressed.
Me and DT told him yesterday, hey, we're going to need you guys to step up. Cortland's been making big-time plays. DaeSean's been making big-time plays. You never know what's going to happen throughout the season. It's going to be times in 3rd down, 5. We're going to need Cortland to come up with those big-time catches. We're going to need DaeSean to come up with a big-time catch. We need those guys.
First 2 days of camp going well, getting out here and really just trying to prove show what I can prove, and then just trying to add value to the team. But, yeah, I think overall the first 2 days were great.
And speaking of those 2 rookie wide receivers, Cortland Sutton, 6'3", 218 pounds. They haven't been wearing the shoulder pads the last couple of days, but he looks like he's had those pads on. And DaeSean Hamilton, not a small guy either, 6'1", 203 pounds. And both of those guys will definitely make an impact this year for the Broncos. And now we welcome on Andrew Mason to the set. Our thanks to Steve Atwater. And Mace, what do you think? Let's get your thoughts real quick on those 2 rookie wideouts.
Well, DaeSean Hamilton, you mentioned his size, 203 pounds. That makes him larger than a guy who profiles as a slot receiver. It's one of the reasons why the Broncos liked him. Now, as he rotates in, I'm sure he's going to see reps in the slot from time to time, but they feel like at that size he can be a little bit more of a mismatch than a traditional slot receiver, and he still has the same precision on routes. That's something that you've seen on the field and the Broncos have pointed to really since draft day, and even saw back at the Senior Bowl, and the scouts saw down at the Shrine Game as well. Courtland Sutton, I mean, he creates a lot of flexibility for the offense. For one thing, I mean, you can put him on the split side, and you can have him by himself and have Demaryius Thomas go on the strong side. That's something you haven't seen a lot of over the years. He offers a lot of flexibility, and athletically he makes some outstanding catches. One of the things I love about him right now is his ability to adjust to the ball in flight. There was a pass yesterday. Paxton Lynch looked for him, and the pass, you've seen some passes leading the receivers perfectly. It wasn't one of those, but you got it in the area code of Courtland Sutton. He was able to adjust to the ball, get positioned around Tremaine Brock, and make the play. I think that kind of catch shows what he can do, and it's going to increase the quarterback's trust in him because they know, hey, the pass doesn't have to be precisely on target for Courtland Sutton to make a play.
Late in the downs, 3rd down, 4th down, just throw it up, give those guys a shot. They have size, but let's talk about the guys who really have size. That's up front, starting with Ron Leary. He's feeling healthy.
Well, he's also feeling comfortable. We talked to him this past summer during OTAs, and he said that he finally feels a level of comfort that he didn't necessarily have. He's going to be on the left side this year. We did that tattoo piece. We took a look at his tattoos. He said, I wanted to get the sleeve on my left arm because that's the arm that's going in the ground. So I think that he's feeling a level of comfort that maybe we necessarily haven't seen. I think with a full bill of health, I think we're going to see a very, very high level of play from Ron this year.
Well, I love seeing Ron Leary at left guard for 2 reasons. Number one, it's what he does best. It's what you signed him for back in free agency in 2017. Number two, you've got Garett Bolles, who you're kind of guiding along at left tackle. He's still learning and growing. And having a seasoned vet, a true pro in terms of not only performance but work ethic and diligence like Ron Leary, I think that's only going to help Garett Bolles. The communication, I think, is going to be good between the two of them. And Leary even has said that how far Bolles has come. So I think having him back at that natural position helps for multiple reasons.
Yeah, he said that he got used to right, but now playing over to left. And then you see Garett Bolles over there heading into his 2nd season. What kind of growth are you hoping to see from year 1 to year 2 for him?
Well, we talked about comfort with Leary. I also think that Bolles, we're seeing a level of comfort. When he came in last year, the one thing that everybody said was he's very raw, athletic, but he doesn't really have all the tools yet. I think we've seen him pick up a lot of things from not only offensive guys, but I've seen him talking to a lot of the defensive linemen and say, hey, where do I need to be putting my hands? Where do I need to be moving in order to put us in the best position? And I think that willingness to learn and that increased level of intelligence along the offensive line is going to help them on that left side.
Well, his footwork and his hand placement look miles ahead of where they were at this time last year. Some of that comes with experience. Some of that, I think, comes with the changes in coaching, having Chris Strausser working exclusively with the tackles and Sean Kugler working with the interior offensive linemen. And because of both of those, he's in better position because his footwork is strong and his hand placement is better, and because of that, he doesn't have to grab as much. And hopefully that will reduce the holding penalties that plagued him last year.
Even a guy like Derek Wolfe mentioned the coaching. He said, hey, I can tell this line is being coached a lot better this year. No clean wins during one-on-ones, and he's been impressed so far. They're working hard on the field, but off the field, the families are still a big part of training camp, and we saw Garett Bolles' son Kingston was able to join him the other day as Bolles met the media.
What's it? Kingston's favorite part of camp? Probably seeing Dad after practice. Probably not when Dad has to go to the hotel. He doesn't like that too much, but he knows, and I FaceTime him, and he's happy. And the older he gets, it's fun for your family, kids, and families to come out here and get, know the guys and know what we do. And the older they get, with Princeton, with Emmanuel's son, he loves it. He's running around, so hopefully he gets a chance to do that too.
So Bolles getting to see his son Kingston. We remember him on draft night holding Kingston out. It looked a little like Simba out there. Cool to see him out at practice. That's a big part of the deal, is getting to see your family afterwards.
Well, Bolles mentioned it. Emmanuel has brought his son Princeton out for years and years and years and played catch with him. And I think that Bolles sees that, and a lot of the coaches even bring their kids out, and it's a big part. Remember, these guys are away from their families for 2 to 3 weeks at a time when training camp hits. It's all football all the time, and so I think that just being able to see Dad out here on the field, getting just a little time with him, is very important.
Day 3 here at Broncos Camp. Mace, what are you hoping to see from the team here today?
Continued crispness and keep the tempo and pace at the same level. I like the fact that yesterday in the team period, the first team period of practice, they came out and they went right into a no-huddle look. I'd like to see more of that. I think it really got practice energized a little bit with just that one no-huddle period. And, of course, the other advantage of that is it allows you to work on situational football, something that's been a point of emphasis this year.
Matt, anything that you're hoping to just catch your eye today?
I think that when Steve mentioned the pads or the shells coming on, I think that's going to be a big thing, especially with those young wideouts. The wide receivers are finally going to see the DBs put their hands on them a little bit more. It's not full contact now, but it's still going to add a different element to the passing game.
Well, our show is winding down here, but Mace, the radio coverage today on Orange and Blue 760 is just getting started.
Yeah, 10-1, first and 10 at 10. Of course, if you listen right now, Andy Lindahl and Tyler Columbus are wrapping up their show. Columbus and Lindahl will take the baton at 10 a.m., take you all the way to 1 p.m., so we'll take you through practice. I'll be on my perch up here watching and giving you some insight from up high. Steve Atwater and Ryan Edwards will be down at field level telling you what they see, and then after practice we'll have we had 4 players come on yesterday after practice to kind of recap things and tell us where they stood. DaeSean Hamilton, Cortland Sutton, Bradley Roby, and Isaiah McKenzie. So I'm sure we'll have some players coming by the 10 afterwards to get their perspective. So plenty coming. Stay tuned.
And you can catch it all on Channel 20 at 6:30 for Orange and Blue Daily. You get to see Mace on TV, radio on the television. That's worth tuning in there for just that there. And if you obviously you couldn't make it out to practice today, but if you can't, there's still a lot more opportunities. The players are off on Thursday this week, but as we mentioned, they're going to be in pads tomorrow. So make sure to come out here to UC Health Training Center, and if not, we'll be right back here tomorrow at 9:30. Until then, for Andrew Mason, Matt Boyer, I'm Phil Lonnie. Our thanks to Steve Atwater. And thank you for joining in. This has been Broncos Camp Live, powered by Ford.